The story started in Ireland. Gerard Quinn from Ireland, Peter Blank from United States, Mandet Havman from Netherlands, and me were assigned by Isaac Herzog, also a connection to Ireland, a committee of experts to study actually transition from institutions to community-based programs. And we used the Irish report that was released in 2011 as a frame of reference, and the UN Convention, Article 12 and Article 19. You know, we just finished a session on Article 12. And we submitted the report in 2011. All the committee took place in Lefzeller Institution in Herzliya, not far from here, one of the oldest institutions in Israel, and it was really a very important experience for us. And just to go briefly on Article 12, Article 12 is an equal recognition before the law, legal capacity, mental capacity, and I know that in Ireland you have just came with new legislation that's coming up, and basically talks about legal capacity and the right of the person to choose, and the right to choose where he's going to live and with whom. And this is Article 19. Article 19 actually addresses the matter of choice, choosing where do you want to live, and also with whom. And of course, inclusion as a major concept of Article 19. Just to give you a brief numbers, and this is not my numbers, these are numbers that were released by the ministry in 2010, and we use it in the committee report, just to let you know that 71 of the people with intellectual disabilities in Israel live in institutions. Institutional care, from, which is really numbers that are quite high compared to Western countries. But the good news is that if we learn from the US, and the US took them many, many years to reduce the numbers, it took United States almost 35 years to reduce the numbers. This is really not an easy task. That's what I'm saying. It's doable, but it takes time. And this is a good example. And also, if you look in terms of Braddock's work from the United States, you'll see that the green is apartments. Okay, so you see more green. It's not only that we are transferring people to community-based programs, but the number of people that live in apartments, and by the way, they use the term the number 6. Because when they did the report in the US, it wasn't 4, it was 6. So these are numbers. Today, it would be completely different, in terms of, okay. Recommendations. The first recommendation was that Israel has to change the legislation. Legislation is really, in takanot, we call it takanot, amendments. We need to build up regulations that will put community-based housing and services as a primary service. The second is change in legal capacity legislation, and this is being done now, so because Israel ratified the UN Convention, and hopefully we are going to see supported decision-making, so this is a move forward. We also suggested a systematic 10 years transitional program needs to be designed in order to develop community infrastructure and services. This is a beginning, and Gideon will talk about it in details, because I think this is, and it's essential to map all community-based services in Israel, which is also will be done in terms of monitoring. Parallel to these developments, we recommended the closing down of large residences, what we call institutions, and that persons who reside in such housing arrangements need to gradually be transferred to community-based residences. This is going to begin soon. And I want to tell you, I'm not going to flatter Ireland today, but this is a fact that we went, Gil Shalom, Yossi Silman and me, went to Brussels, and in Brussels we got all the European picture, what's going on in Europe, and after Europe, we went to Ireland. After we saw Ireland in action, then it was for sure that government decided to move forward because, you know, we are academics, and for us sometimes statements are enough, but practitioners, and they took it seriously, they explored residences, including a close institution in Ireland, and I saw also that it's doable. It's doable. By the way, there was a fringe benefit that we learned also indirectly about employment, about the alternative to sheltered employment that is being practiced, that is already in the process in Ireland for many, many years. We also recommend moving from a program to person-centered budgeting, which is something that is still considered a dream, but you know, when you do a transition, you have to consider also the next step. And the next step is a personal budget that you can move forward with your budget, that it's trimmed to individual needs. The roadmap for the reform. Within 10 years, all large residential facilities should be closed permanently in Israel. This was our recommendation. I'm finishing. So, during this decade, all residents will be transitioned to a small community-based living arrangements of their choice and with appropriate support. Such residents, if you're not individual, will house no more than 4. This was the recommendation was. A planning committee with subcommittee that this is now being done, Gideon, you know, the committees of Beshut and all the people are sitting and planning the process, so this being done, and also recommend monitoring and evaluation team, and therefore Gerard Quinn didn't finish his job. He's going to continue the process of monitoring the change. That's it.